Hello student, in today's session we will discuss about the synthetic curve. Okay, so what is synthetic curve? The curve which is represented by the number of data points, the curve which is defined by the number of data point is known as the synthetic curve. The curve is passing through the given data points. See here, as the synthetic curve is constructed to pass through the given data points, then it forms a polynomial. Means the in a synthetic curve, the curve is not represented by the analytical equation. It is passing to the given number of data points and it is represented by the polynomial. The synthetic curve is needed in a design when the curve is represented by the collection of the data points. The synthetic curve are virtual in design. Okay, so the analytical curve are usually not sufficient to meet the geometrical design. Means, as we discussed that the analytical curve, example of the analytical curve are the circle, line, parabola, hyperbola, but they are not useful to design the some parts in our curve. Means, if we want to design the car body, then the analytical curve are not sufficient to design such type of the curve. So synthetic curve are needed, and therefore the synthetic curve are passing through the given number of data points and it is represented by the polynomial. The synthetic curve are used for representing the profiles like a car bodies, sheafles, aeroplane wings, propeller blades, shoes, insole, etc. These are the some example of the synthetic curve. Generally synthetic curve are used to represent the car body, sheafle, aeroplane blade or a propeller, etc. Then there are some continuity conditions that we will discuss. What is the continuity conditions? There are three main types of the continuity condition. That is, first one is called as a zero order continuity, or it is called as a position continuity. Then second one is a first order continuity, or it is called as a slope continuity, and third continuity condition is called as a second order continuity, and it is called as a curvature continuity. So we will discuss one by one. So what is zero order continuity condition? See this, this is the equation of x of u, y of u and z of u, and a1x, b1x, c1x, d1x are the variables that we need to find, and the value of u is varying from u minimum to u maximum. If there are two sections, see this example here. Here is a curvature. Here is a curvature 1 which is passing through point P1 to P2. Here is a curvature is 1 is passing through the point P1 to P2, and it is called as a section 1. If we consider this overall curve, that is the curve which is passing through P1, P2, P3, P4, and the parts of this, if we divide this curve into number of parts, suppose we divide the curve which is passing through P1 to P2, mark it as a section 1, and if the curve is passing through the point P2 to P3, then we will mark it as a section 2. Now this example, x of u, y of u and z of u represent the section 1, and this polynomial in which variables are a2, b2, means a2x, b2x, c2x, d2x, a2y, b2y, c2y and so on. This polynomial will represent the section 2 and this polynomial will represent the section 1. So in a section 1, the limit is u minimum to u maximum, and in a second section also limit is u minimum to u maximum. But if we see here, the point P1 to P2, at a P1 u is minimum and P2 u is maximum. If we consider the section 1, the P1, at a P1 the u is minimum and at a P2 u is maximum. And now if we consider the section 2, now if we consider the section 2, then for a section 2, at a P2 u is minimum and at P3 u is maximum. So for a section 1 and 2, the common point is P2, and at a point P2 the point P2 is u maximum for section 1 and u minimum for section 2. So if we compare this, we will get this equation. So here in a zero order continuity, we can say that for section 1, see here, for a zero order position continuity means for section 1 and section 2 of the curve are met. At a point P2, the section 1 of the curve is met and section 2 of the curve is also met, but at a point P2, the u is maximum for section 1 and u is minimum for a section 2. So this is called as the first order continuity or a position continuity. Now there is another type that is called as the first order or slope continuity. The second condition of continuity is called as a first order continuity or a slope continuity. In this type of the continuity condition, we will take the derivative of this equation. Means this, if we consider this polynomial, this polynomial will represent the section 1 and of the curve, and this polynomial will represent the section 2 of the curve. Now if we take the derivative of this polynomial, then we will get the first order continuity or called as a slope continuity. See here, this polynomial, if we take the derivative of the section 1 of the curve, then we will get this equation, and this will represent the slope of the section 1. This will represent the slope of the section 1. So see here, this is a point P1 and this is a point P2, and P1, the curve is passing through P1 to P2. Now we have taken the derivative of the section 1, and similarly if we take the derivative of the section 2, then at a point P2 here, the see here, the first order or slope continuity means first derivative or slope at u max for section 1. Means if we take the first derivative of the section 1 and the first derivative of the section 2, then at a point P2, u maximum for section 1 is equal to u minimum for section 2. At a point P2, the u maximum for section 1 is equal to u minimum of the section 2, and this is called as the first order continuity or a slope continuity. Means what happened at point P2 in a first order continuity, that the first order derivative of the section 1 for the first order derivative of the section 1 is at u is equal to maximum is equal to first order derivative of the section 2 at u is equal to minimum, and this is called as the first order continuity. Now we will discuss the second order continuity, or it called as the curvature continuity. As we discussing the three continuity condition, the first one is a zero order continuity, it is also called as the position continuity. First order continuity, it is also called as slope continuity, and second order continuity, or it is called as the curvature continuity. In a second order continuity condition, we have taken the second derivative of the equation of the curve, and if we take the second order derivative for a section 1, we will get this equation, and if we take the second order derivative for a section 2, then we will get this equation, and the value of u here is, that is u minimum to u maximum, here also u minimum to u maximum. But if we consider at a point P2, the second order derivative of the section 1 is equal to second order derivative of the section 2. Means if we take the u maximum at a section 1, if we take the second order derivative, and if we put the u is equal to u maximum for section 1, which is equal to second order derivative of the section 2 at u is equal to u minimum. U is equal to u minimum, and this is called as the second order continuity or a curvature continuity. So these are the three main continuity conditions. That is, first one is the zero order, called as a curvature called as a position continuity, first order continuity, or it is called as the slope continuity, and second order continuity is called as the curvature continuity. Now we will discuss the approaches of generation of the synthetic curve. There are two main approaches of the generation of the synthetic curve. One is called the interpolation and another one is called as the approximation. Interpolation means, if we see this A diagram here, in this diagram the curve is passing through all the data points. The curve is passing through all the data points, then it is called as the interpolation. Sorry, what is meant by interpolation? Interpolation means, if the curve is passing through all the data points, then it is called as the interpolation, and if the curve is not passing through all the data points, but it try to passes the maximum number of data points. If the curve is not passing through all the data points, but is try to passing through the maximum number of data points, then it is called as the approximation. So these are the two main approaches of the generation of the synthetic curve. These are the two main approaches of the generation of the synthetic curve. Now the types of synthetic curve. As we discussed that what is meant by synthetic curve, the curve which is passing through the number of data points, then it is called as a synthetic curve. So there are three main types of the synthetic curve: the cubic spline curve, then second one is the Bezier curve, and third one is the beta spline curve. So we will discuss one by one. So Hermite cubic spline curve. Cubic spline curve, as name it suggested that it is a cubic representation. So the Hermite cubic spline curve is represented by the polynomial having the degree 3. Cube means degree 3. So this is the parametric equation of the cubic curve. This is the parametric equation of the cubic curve, in which u is varying from 0 to 1, and if we write this equation in terms of matrix, we will get this equation. Okay, to represent the cubic curve or Hermite cubic curve, we require two main points. If we want to represent the cubic spline curve, then we require two main things. That is, first one is the two data points. Means, to represent the cubic curve, we require two data points, that is P0 and P1, and these two data points are the end points of the curve and the two tangent vector of these points. Means, if we see here, this is a starting point P0 and this is the end point P1 of the curve. Okay, and we require two tangent vector of this, that is P0 dash and P1 dash are the tangent vector at the point P0 and P1, and at a point P0 u is equal to 0 and at a point P1 u is equal to 1. So these are the two main things that we require to represent the cubic spline curve or Hermite cubic curve or cubic curve. If we change the position of these points, and the direction of the vector, then we will get the different curve. Okay, if we want to change the position of the curve or shape of the curve, we need to change the position of the points also and the vector or tangent vector at that point. So this is called as the Hermite cubic curve or Hermite cubic spline curve. Okay, so see here, to control the Hermite cubic spline curve, the shape of the Hermite cubic spline curve can be controlled by changing the endpoints and its tangent vector. Means, here if we want, this is the shape of the curve. Let's see, this is the shape of the curve. Now if we want to change the shape of the curve, then we need to change the position of this point P1 to here and its tangent vector. Its tangent vector. If we change the position and its position on the tangent vector, then we will get the change of the shape, or shape of the curve will get changed. So remember that to change the shape of the cubic curve, we require to change the its end point and its tangent vector. See here, change of data points means here is starting point, means this is our point P0 starting point and this is our point P1 end point. If we change the position of this from this to this position, then the shape of the curve will get changed. And if we want to change the shape, we can change its tangent vector. Means we can change the shape of the curve by changing its end points also, and can be changed by its tangent vector also. Okay, so here these two diagrams will show how we can change the shape of the cubic curve. Okay, no, so here is a limitation of the cubic spline curve. What is the limitation of the cubic spline curve is that the use of Hermite cubic spline curve in a CAD/CAM application is not very popular due to the need of tangent vector to define the curve. Means if we want to define the Hermite cubic spline curve, then we need to define the tangent vector at the end points. We need to define the tangent vector at its end point, and it is difficult. So that's why generally the cubic Hermite spline curve is not used in a CAD/CAM application. Okay, so which are the curves that we can use for use in a CAD application? That is the Bezier curve. So see here, reason to use a Bezier curve. Why we need to use a Bezier curve? It is not very convenient to change the shape of the Hermite cubic spline curve. If we want to change the shape of the Hermite cubic spline curve, then we need to change its end point also, and we need to change its tangent vector also, and to represent its tangent vector is difficult. That's why it is not easy to change the shape of the Hermite cubic spline curve. So to change the curve, or to avoid this, we use the Bezier curve in order to provide the more flexibility for changing the shape of the curve. Means if we want to change the shape of the curve very flexibly, then we need to use another curve, and for this purpose the Bezier curve is used. The curve is known as a Bezier curve. The Bezier curve used for car surfaces. Where the Bezier curve is used, it is used in a car surfaces. So what are the requirements for the Bezier curve? The Bezier curve see here, the Bezier curve uses the given data points or vertices of generating the curve. The curve passes through first and last data points, and other points is called as the control points. Means here is a to represent the cubic curve, we require two endpoints and the tangent vector at the endpoints. So if we want to Bezier curve, then we require its starting point u0 and end point u3. Suppose here we consider 4 data points, therefore last point is p3. So at p0 u is equal to 0, and at p3 u is equal to 1, and the point p1 and P2 is called as the control point. The point P1 and P2 is called as the control point. Means as the position of the point P1 and P2 changes, the shape of the Bezier curve will get changed. The shape of the Bezier curve will get changed. Okay. So see here, the Bezier curve is not use tangent vector for controlling its shape. The shape of the Bezier curve is controlled by the number of data points. See here in this image, this is the position of P0, P1, P2, P3, and this is our Bezier curve. If we change the position if we change the position of the data points, means the starting points, end points are at the same position, but this control point P1 and P2, if we change the shape position of the P1 and P2, then the shape of the Bezier curve get changed. See here, if we change the position of the control points, if we change the position of the control point, then the shape of the Bezier curve will get changed. Okay, if we change the any point, any control points, means if in this case there are two control points P1 and P2, and if we change the position of, see here, wait, suppose I will mark this as a image 1 and this as a image 3. In a image 1, the point P1 and P2, this is the position of the point P1 and this is the position of the point P2. And image 3, we have changed the position, only the position of the point P1. In a image 3, we have changed only the position of the point P1, and as the position of the point P1 is changes, the shape of the Bezier curve is get totally different. The shape of the Bezier curve is totally different. Similarly, if we consider this is image 2 and this is image 4, in this case also, if we change the position of the control point P1, then the shape of the Bezier curve will obtain is totally different. So means if we want to change the Bezier curve or shape of the Bezier curve, we need to change the position of the control points. Okay, but if in a Bezier curve, if we change the any one control points, then the overall shape of the Bezier curve will get changed. If we change the any one control point in a Bezier curve, then overall shape of the Bezier curve will get changed. Okay, and in a Bezier curve, if there are n plus 1 number of data points, suppose if the Bezier curve in which we have a n plus 1 number of data points, then polynomial that forms for a Bezier curve having a degree of n, means if there is n plus 1 number of data points, then degree of polynomial of the Bezier curve is n. Means suppose there are 10 number of data points, then the polynomial having a 9 degree, means there is a polynomial to represent the curve having a degree of 9. Okay, so this is called as a Bezier curve. We will see one video related to this, so we will get total idea about it,
which is equivalent to a linear interpolation, with
See
t
here, there are
varies
2
from
points,
0 to 1.
P1, P0
This
and
function
P1.
simply means that the
Okay.
influence
And if
of
we
each
join
point
this by straight
depends
line,
on t.
then this
For
is
t
our
equal to 0,
Bezier
we
curve.
will get P0 and P1. Here
And if
in
we
this
increase
case,
the number of data points,
and
means here
then
we have increased the
interpolate
data
between
points, that is
L0 and L1.
P0,
This will give
P1,
us
P2.
Q0.
Then
If we trace the path of Q0,
means
it will
here
show a
P1 is
curve
acts as a
going from the first point to the last point.
control
First
points.
and the last
So this
control
red line
points
will
are
represent the
always
Bezier
the end points of the curve. This function can also be rewritten into this form.
Means initially
This
when
is
there are
what
two,
is known as a
see here, when initially there are two data points, that is P1 and P2, and no control points, then the straight line is our Bezier curve. But if we increase the number of data points, that is P0 to P0, P1, P2, means if we increase the number of data points by 1, then this
quadratic
red
Bezier
curve will represent the Bezier curve. Means this P1 is acts as a control point.
curve. For a cubic Bezier, call it L2.
And similarly here
We do another
we
interpolation
have
between
one data
L1
point, that
and
is
L2.
P3.
And
Then
finally,
get the
we
shape of the
interpolate
Bezier curve
between
is different.
Q0 and
Means
Q1.
as the number of data point is increases or changes, the shape of the Bezier curve will get
If we
changed.
trace C0's path, it will look like this. And this is what is known as a cubic Bezier curve.
So here this red line will represent our Bezier curve when there are 4 number of data points. 4 number of data points. Okay, so this is overall about the Bezier curve. Now there is one another call as the beta spline curve or B spline curve. B spline curve. So why there is a need to use a beta spline curve is that one problem is associated with the Bezier curve is that increase the number of control points, the degree of polynomial representing the curve is increases. As we discussed, if we are we having a curve which contain the 10 number of data points, then the polynomial to represent that curve required is having a degree of 9. Means if there is a n plus 1 number of data points, then the polynomial having a nth degree. Okay, so to make this parametric equation complicated, and due to if the degree of polynomial get increased, then this parametric equation is complicated or it increase the computation for this purpose. That's why the Bezier curve is not suitable for that application. Then another reason to use a beta spline curve is that in a beta spline curve separates the degree of polynomial representing the curve. Means in a case of Bezier curve, if we change the one data points or position of one data points, then overall shape of the Bezier curve will get changed. Okay, if we use a Bezier curve, then and if we change the means if we change the position of any control point, then overall shape of the Bezier curve will get changed. Then overall shape of the Bezier curve get changed. See here, in image 1 and 2, if we change the position of the point 1 and 3, here we change the position of point P1, then overall shape of the Bezier curve is look different from its original position. Okay, to avoid this or to maintain the shape of the curve or to maintain the shape of the curve at only local points, then the beta spline curve is used. See here, there are different data points, that is P0, P1, P2, P3, here is P3 dash, here is P3 double dash, P4, P5, P6. Okay. So see here, if there are see the number of data points, that is P1, P0, P1, P2, P3, P4, here is P4, here is P5 and here is P6. If the curve is consists of a data points, that is P0, P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, then the shape of the curve is like this. Okay, this blue line will represent the shape of the curve when curves having a data points, that is P0, P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6. If we change the position of the point P3 from P3 to P3 dash, if we change the position of the point P3 from P3 to P3 dash, then the shape of the curve will get changed. Shape of the curve, if our curve is passing through P1, P0, P1, P2, P3 dash, P4, P5, P6. Here we have changed the position of P3 from P3 to P3 dash, then the curve will look like this. Curve will look like this. Means if we change the position of P3, then only in that portion of the curve the shape of the curve will get changed. Means in a beta spline curve or a B spline curve, there is a local control on the shape of the curve. There is local control on the shape of the curve. Okay. Now, if we change the position of the point P3 from P3 to P3 double dash, here is our P3 double dash. if we change the position of point P3 to P3 double dash, then the shape of the curve will represent by the yellow line. Means only that yellow portion, in that yellow portion the shape of the curve will get changed and other shape of the curve will remain same. So here are the some advantages to use a beta spline curve. So what are these advantages? That the beta spline curve allows the local control over the shape of the curve against the global control in a case of Bezier curve. In a Bezier curve, if we change any point of the given data point, then the overall shape of the Bezier curve will change. But in a case of beta spline curve, there is a local control, means only that portion of the curve will get changed, remain portion of the remain same. The beta spline curve, in a beta spline curve, the degree of the polynomial representing the curve can be a set of independently number of the control data points. Means the curve which represents the beta spline curve is not, means it has a degree. If there are n plus 1 data points, then the degree of the polynomial that represent the beta spline curve doesn't have a degree of n, it will be a different degree. Okay, the beta spline curve gives the better control. In a beta spline curve, it gives a better control on the shape of the curve. The beta spline curve permits to add or delete any number of control data points without changing the degree of polynomial. Means if we, as the degree of polynomial in a case of beta spline curve will not depend on the number of data points. That's why if we add a one data point or if we delete a one data points, then it will not affect on the degree of polynomial for a beta spline curve. Okay, so this is related all about the Hermite cubic spline curve or Bezier curve and the beta spline curve. Now we will compare all these three curve. See here, there are some parameters. Here is beta cubic spline curve, here is Bezier curve, and here is beta spline curve. Hermite cubic spline curve, Bezier curve, and beta spline curve. See here, this is a representation. To represent Hermite cubic spline curve, we require two endpoints and the two tangent vector at the endpoints. To represent the Bezier curve, we required number of data points, and as the position of the data points changes, its shape of the curve will change. Now here in a beta spline curve also we required the number of data points, but in case of beta spline curve there is a local control to represent the curve. Means if we change the any one position of the any one data point, that then only that portion of the curve will get changed. Means that portion of the curve will change its position, other portion of the curve will remain same. Now degree of the polynomial. The Hermite cubic spline is always represented by the polynomial of the degree 3. Means in a case of Hermite cubic spline curve, the degree of the polynomial is always 3. In a Bezier curve, if there are n plus 1 number of data points, in a case of Bezier curve, if there are n plus 1 number of data points, then the polynomial that represent that curve having a degree n, means suppose there are 10 number of data points, then the polynomial having a degree 9. If there are 100 number of data points, then the polynomial having a degree 99. And in a case of beta spline curve with n plus 1 data points, in a case of beta spline curve with the n plus 1 data points is represented by the polynomial of any degree up to the n. Means in a case of beta spline curve, if there are n plus 1 data points, then the polynomial which having any number of degree, that is which is up to n, will represent the polynomial. Now relation between the number of data points and the degree of the polynomial. In a case of Hermite cubic spline, the curve of the degree, in a case of Hermite cubic spline curve, the degree of the polynomial will depend on the number of data points. Means degree of the data points or degree of the polynomial will depend upon the number of data points. In case of Bezier curve also, the degree of the polynomial will depend on the number of data points, but in a case of beta spline curve, there is the degree of the polynomial will not depend upon the number of data points. So this is another difference. Then next difference is data required to draw the curves. Which data or which inputs we require to draw the curve? So to draw the Hermite cubic spline curve, we require the two endpoints of the curve and the two tangent vector at the end points. To represent the Hermite cubic spline curve, we require the two endpoints of the curve and the two tangent vector at that end points. And to represent the Bezier curve, for drawing the Bezier curve, two data points at the end while one or more control points between are required. To draw or to represent the Bezier curve, two endpoints are required and one or more control points are required to represent the curve or to decide the shape of the curve in case of Bezier curve. For drawing the beta spline curve, two data points at the end while one or more control points are required. In case of beta spline curve also, we require two endpoints and intermediate point to represent the curve. Then the control of the shape of the curve. How we can control the shape of the curve? In a case of Hermite cubic spline curve, the shape of the curve is only controlled by the tangent vector at the end points. Means in a case of Hermite cubic spline curve, the shape of the curve will be controlled by the tangent vector at the end points. Hence, control of the shape of the curve is not very convenient. To change the shape of the curve, we need to change the tangent vector at the end point. In a case of Hermite cubic spline curve, so it is not very convenient to change the shape of the Bezier curve. To change the shape of the Hermite cubic spline curve. In a Bezier curve, the shape of the curve is controlled by the control points. The shape of the curve will be controlled by the control points. If we change any one position or any position of the, or if we change the position of any point on the any control point, then overall shape of the Bezier curve will get changed. And in a case of beta spline curve, the shape of the curve is controlled by the control points. But in a case of beta spline or B spline curve, there is a local control. Means if we change the one point of the curve, then only that portion of the curve will get changed, remain portion of the curve will remain same. So this is the difference between Hermite cubic curve, Bezier curve and the beta spline curve. Okay, so this is regarding all the synthetic curves. So today we will stop here. In next lecture we will discuss the next part.